Most women believe that what draws men in and keeps them is beauty. How she looks, how she dresses, how she moves, but that's only part of the truth. Beauty catches the eye, yes, but it doesn't hold the heart. What keeps a man coming back again and again is something far more subtle, something emotional, something invisible but deeply felt. It's the way he feels when he's around you, the way his guard softens, the way he feels seen, respected, and understood without needing to perform. There's a quiet power in that, a power that doesn't shout for attention, but instead pulls it naturally. And once a man feels it, he doesn't even know why he can't stop thinking about you. It's not a trick or manipulation. It's the ancient dance between feminine and masculine energy, the meeting of two souls who balance each other. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." That's exactly what happens when a woman awakens a man's deeper emotions. She transforms the connection, and without even trying, she transforms him. So today, we're diving into the first layer of this transformation, the kind of energy that not only attracts but anchors him. Feminine energy. The phrase is often misunderstood. Some think it means being passive, waiting quietly, or never taking the lead. But true feminine energy is not weakness, it's magnetism. It's the strength that comes from being centered in your emotions, grounded in your intuition, and open to the flow of connection. Imagine for a moment a woman walking into a room. She isn't the loudest, she doesn't have to demand attention. Yet something about her draws eyes toward her. There's calmness in her presence, a warmth in her smile, and a peace in her energy. That is feminine power. It's not forced. It's felt. When you are in your feminine, you create space. You allow life to unfold instead of chasing after control. You respond instead of react. You listen, not just with your ears, but with your whole presence. Men feel that, and they crave it more than they even realize. Because in a world that constantly tells men to be strong, to hustle, to hide emotions, meeting a woman who gives them peace feels like coming home. This peace is not dull. It's electric in its softness. It's mystery wrapped in calmness. It's what makes a man lower his armor. He might not understand it logically, but emotionally it feels irresistible. Feminine energy shows in small natural ways. The way you smile when something genuinely amuses you. The way your eyes light up when you talk about something you love. The way you let silence exist comfortably in a conversation, not rushing to fill it with words. The way you breathe deeply, allowing yourself to be rather than to do. And here's something beautiful. When a woman relaxes into her feminine energy, the man beside her naturally rises into his masculine, not because she demands it, but because the balance invites it. Her softness calls forth his strength. Her calmness steadies his drive. Her openness gives him purpose. It's the dance of polarity, the invisible rhythm that makes attraction timeless. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that's the heart of feminine energy. It's not about acting feminine or performing gentleness. It's about returning to who you naturally are beneath all the layers of fear, proving and doing. When you let yourself be fully and unapologetically, you awaken the side of a man that longs to protect, to cherish, and to stay. Let's go a little deeper. When a man encounters this kind of energy, his brain reacts in specific ways. This isn't just emotional, it's biological. When he feels your calm presence and authentic warmth, his body releases dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. These are the same chemicals that make him feel safe, happy, and deeply bonded. Dopamine makes him associate you with excitement and pleasure. Oxytocin builds trust and intimacy. Serotonin grounds him, giving him emotional balance and peace. That's why some women linger in a man's mind long after they've left the room. It's not because of looks or charm, it's because of how they made him feel. His brain begins to wire those emotions directly to you. You become his safe space and his thrill at the same time. And this is why chasing never works. When you chase, You activate pressure in his brain. But when you allow, when you stand in your worth, when you radiate peace instead of anxiety, he comes closer on his own. The attraction grows naturally because his nervous system feels at ease with you. This isn't about perfection. It's not about being calm every second or never showing emotion. In fact, showing emotion is part of your beauty. Feminine energy flows. It's joy, sadness, laughter, tears, all woven together in truth. What matters is that you stay connected to yourself even as you connect with him. When you honor your feelings instead of hiding them, you show him authenticity, and that authenticity creates trust. The world teaches us to compete, to compare, to perform. But connection isn't built through performance. It's built through presence. The right man won't fall for how perfectly you present yourself. He'll fall for how real you are when the mask comes off. There's a sacred kind of beauty in a woman who doesn't rush love, who doesn't panic when things slow down, who trusts that if it's meant for her, it won't need to be forced. That trust radiates. It's powerful. It tells the universe, and him, that you are safe within yourself. And when a man senses that, he's drawn to it like gravity. So the first step is simple, but profound. Come back to your center. Take time each day to reconnect with your breath, your body, your intuition. Do things that make you feel alive, creative, and present. Dance, journal, take walks. Listen to music that moves you. Because when you nurture your feminine energy, you naturally glow in a way that no makeup or outfit can duplicate. Carl Jung once wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." That is the essence of feminine energy. Looking inward, awakening your heart, and allowing that inner calm to flow outward. When you do this, you stop needing to chase love. Love begins to find you. People sense your energy before you speak. The right man will be pulled in not because you tried to impress him, but because he felt something rare, peace, depth, and authenticity. And that's where the real magic begins. Because the kind of connection that lasts doesn't come from trying to be everything he wants. It comes from being fully, deeply, unapologetically you. When a man meets a woman who knows herself, trusts herself, and lives from her heart, something awakens in him too. His soul recognizes her energy, not as competition, but as completion. He doesn't want to possess her. He wants to protect what feels sacred. He doesn't want to play games. He wants to stay. That's the quiet secret of feminine energy. It doesn't chase. It attracts. It doesn't demand. It invites. It doesn't need to prove. It simply is. And when you embody that truth, you don't just capture attention. You create emotional resonance. The kind that lingers long after the first spark fades. The kind that grows into something real, lasting, and deeply fulfilling. If feminine energy is what draws a man in, self-respect is what makes him stay. It's the quiet, steady current that runs beneath everything else. Without it, attraction fizzles. With it, you become unforgettable. Not because you demand attention, but because your energy commands respect without a single word. Self-respect doesn't shout. It doesn't need to prove. It simply knows. It's the calm assurance of a woman who understands her worth and refuses to trade it for temporary affection. It's the awareness that love is something to be shared, not earned. When a woman carries self-respect, it's felt before she even speaks. It's in the way she carries herself, the way she chooses her words, the way she gives her time. It's not arrogance, it's clarity. She knows that peace is expensive, and that not everyone deserves front row access to her heart. Picture this. A man meets two women. One tries hard to please him, responding instantly, bending her schedule, overthinking every message. The other takes her time. She's warm, engaging, but not in a hurry. She listens, she laughs, but she doesn't give herself away too soon. She's not afraid of silence or space. The second woman leaves an imprint, not because she played hard to get, but because she respects her own energy. That's what self-respect does. It creates gravity. It makes a man realize that your attention is a privilege, not a guarantee. Men, at their core, value what they have to earn. When something comes too easily, they may enjoy it, but they rarely treasure it. Self-respect reminds him that he must rise to meet you. It challenges him in the best way, not by creating tension, but by inspiring growth. You see, real attraction isn't about how much effort you give to impress him. It's about how deeply you honor yourself while connecting with him. It's knowing when to say yes and when to lovingly say no. It's choosing not to settle for half connection or inconsistent energy. A woman who respects herself doesn't chase mixed signals. She doesn't wait in confusion, hoping for crumbs of affection. She asks directly or through her actions for clarity, not from neediness but from self-worth. And that confidence, quiet, grounded, unshakable, draws men in. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." When you begin to live with self-respect, you stop letting unconscious fears and patterns control your choices in love. You stop mistaking anxiety for passion. You stop confusing inconsistency for chemistry. You begin to choose peace over chaos. That's when everything shifts. Self-respect teaches you that distance isn't always rejection. It can be redirection. When a man pulls away, your self-respect allows you to stay centered. You don't panic. You don't overextend. You observe. You let him reveal who he truly is. If he returns with intention, good. If he doesn't, you know your worth remains untouched. Because a woman with self-respect knows she is never waiting to be chosen. She is choosing every day what aligns with her peace, her values, her heart. And here's the irony. When you live this way, men value you more. They sense that you're not desperate for attention. You're selective with your energy. That makes your presence feel rare and precious. It creates the kind of curiosity that no performance can replicate. A man may meet many women who are beautiful, kind, or interesting, but the one he can't forget is the woman who didn't lose herself trying to please him. The one who smiled with softness, but held her standards, like a queen holds her crown, not as a weapon, but as identity. So what does self-respect look like in daily life? It's subtle, yet powerful. It's the woman who says no to last-minute plans because she already made time for herself. It's the woman who listens when a man speaks, but also listens to her own intuition. It's the woman who doesn't explain her worth, because her actions already speak it. It's the woman who knows how to give without depleting, love without losing herself, and care without collapsing. This balance of warmth and boundaries is what magnetizes masculine energy. A grounded man respects a woman who respects herself. Her boundaries don't push him away. They show him where safety lives. Because deep down, a healthy man doesn't want to lead a relationship with chaos or control. He wants to lead with purpose, direction, and honor. And he can only do that with a woman who values herself enough to expect respect in return. But self-respect isn't rigidity. It's not about building high walls. It's about creating healthy filters. You're open to love, but not to confusion. You're available to connection, but not to emotional carelessness. You can say yes to vulnerability, but no to neglect. This kind of self-awareness comes from understanding your emotional patterns. Notice what you allow when you're afraid of being alone. Notice how your boundaries shift when you want to be liked, and then gently realign them, not from punishment, but from love. Because self-respect isn't about cutting people off to prove strength. It's about staying aligned with your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about learning to walk away not in anger, but in peace. When you embody this, you become unforgettable, not for your looks or your charm, but for your energy. You carry an air of quiet confidence that says, "I'm whole. I want love, but I don't need chaos to feel alive." That steadiness inspires trust. It makes a man want to show up fully because he senses he can't manipulate or impress his way into your world. He has to earn it through honesty, consistency, and depth. And when he realizes that your love is rooted in self-respect, it awakens his own integrity. He wants to meet you there. That's how mutual respect and loyalty grow, not from rules or ultimatums, but from emotional maturity. Sometimes, the strongest thing a woman can do is nothing. Not out of coldness, but out of clarity. She doesn't chase. She doesn't beg for explanation. She lets silence do the teaching. And silence, when backed by self-worth, speaks louder than any argument ever could. A woman like that doesn't fear losing someone who isn't aligned with her peace. She knows that anything that requires her to abandon herself isn't love, it's attachment. And attachment fades, but self-respect endures. So, as you nurture your feminine energy, root it in your self-respect. Because the combination of warmth and boundaries is irresistible. You can be soft and kind, yet unshakably strong. You can be open-hearted, yet deeply discerning. This balance doesn't just attract a man, it inspires the right man to rise. He sees your grace, but he also feels your power. He knows that if he wants a place in your life, he must bring honesty, effort, and intention. In time, he learns something profound. Your love is not a reward to be taken for granted. It's a reflection of your soul, and souls like yours cannot be replaced. Because beauty might catch his eye, but it's your boundaries, your depth, your quiet confidence that will keep his heart. When a man experiences that, he doesn't just like you, he respects you. And respect is what builds desire that lasts. Your energy tells the story before your words ever do. When you carry self-respect like light, everything around you begins to align with it. And that's the secret. The more you respect yourself, the more life, love, and people will respect you in return. Self-respect and feminine energy are powerful, but there's another piece that completes the puzzle. Emotional safety. This is the invisible foundation beneath attraction and respect. Without it, even the strongest chemistry or highest standards can falter. Emotional safety is what allows a man to fully show up, to lower his walls, to reveal his fears and hopes, and to connect in a way that goes beyond surface attraction. Think about it. Most men spend their lives performing. From a young age, they're taught to hide vulnerability, to appear strong, capable, and in control at all times. Society trains them to prove themselves constantly, whether at work, with friends, or in relationships. And when a man meets a woman who reacts to this performance with judgment, correction, or indifference, he shuts down. The mask stays on. The connection never deepens. But when a woman provides emotional safety, something remarkable happens. He can take off that mask. He can be real. He can show the side of himself that longs to be seen but has learned to hide. Emotional safety isn't about fixing him. It isn't about telling him what to do. It's about creating a space where he feels accepted, understood, and valued for who he truly is. Here's what emotional safety looks like in practice. It begins with presence. Are you genuinely listening when he talks? Not planning your next words or trying to solve everything, but truly hearing him. Are you curious about his inner world? Do you let him express frustration, dreams, or confusion without judgment? That kind of attentiveness is rare. It signals that he's not just being tolerated. He's being seen. Emotional safety also requires consistency. He needs to know that your warmth isn't conditional. That when he messes up, when life gets messy, or when emotions run high, you don't withdraw or react harshly. You stay grounded. You respond thoughtfully. You make him feel secure in being himself. That predictability builds trust. And trust is the currency of loyalty. Boundaries play a crucial role here as well. Emotional safety isn't about removing limits. It's about holding them wisely. A man needs to know that while he's free to be himself, he won't cross into disrespect or chaos. Boundaries, when held with grace, create a sense of structure and predictability that allows him to relax. They tell him without words that love with you is not careless, it's intentional. Let's consider an example. Imagine he shares something vulnerable, a fear, a failure, or a dream. Emotional safety means you respond with empathy rather than judgment. You don't interrupt with advice he didn't ask for. You don't minimize his feelings. You simply reflect understanding, curiosity, and support. That moment signals to his brain that this woman is trustworthy. Oxytocin begins to flow. He feels close, grounded, and understood. His heart starts linking that sense of safety directly to you. Emotional safety also means respecting his pace. Sometimes a man isn't ready to share everything immediately, and that's okay. Pressing, pushing, or demanding can backfire. True safety allows space and time for him to open up naturally. You communicate through your calm, grounded energy. I'm here. You can share when you're ready. I accept you now as you are. That patience is magnetic. Another aspect is emotional regulation on your part. How you manage your own feelings directly affects the emotional climate between you. If conflicts arise, staying composed, balanced, and centered demonstrates that love with you is stable. It doesn't mean avoiding disagreements or pretending everything is perfect. It means showing that love can exist even when life is messy. That steadiness is incredibly attractive because it allows him to be fully human without fear of rejection. Carl Jung once said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Emotional safety is part of that enlightenment. You're not pretending there's no conflict, fear, or shadow. You acknowledge it, feel it, and respond with wisdom and calm. That allows both of you to grow together rather than fear each other's shadows. Emotional safety doesn't just create attachment, it creates loyalty. When a man feels he can be himself and be loved for it, he doesn't seek that fulfillment elsewhere. He doesn't look for validation or excitement outside the relationship. His brain associates closeness with pleasure, comfort, and trust. Dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin all reinforce this emotional bond. The connection deepens naturally, without coercion or pressure. And here's a subtle truth many overlook. Emotional safety amplifies the other behaviors we've discussed. Feminine energy is more magnetic when it's paired with stability and respect. Self-respect becomes more compelling when it's combined with genuine care for his emotional experience. These behaviors aren't separate. They feed into one another, creating a dynamic that feels effortless yet powerful. Everyday moments are where emotional safety is built. Listening fully without interrupting, laughing together without forcing fun, maintaining boundaries without coldness, showing vulnerability without fear. These moments accumulate like bricks, constructing a foundation strong enough to support lasting love. Here's a practical example. He texts you late at night asking for company, but you've already set time aside for yourself. Emotional safety doesn't mean ignoring him, it means responding calmly and clearly. "I'd love to see you, but tonight I need time for myself. Let's plan something tomorrow." You honor your needs without dismissing his. That balance teaches him how to treat you and reinforces the respect he feels for you. Another example is conflict. Suppose he says something that triggers frustration. Emotional safety isn't reacting with anger or defensiveness. It's pausing, reflecting, and responding from a place of clarity. It's showing him that even under pressure, you remain grounded. That reliability is magnetic because it signals emotional maturity. Emotional safety is not passive. It's active presence. It's conscious attention. It's the daily, intentional choice to show up fully. Without masks, without drama, without manipulation. It's the ultimate expression of love that doesn't demand. Love that invites. When a man experiences this consistently, he begins to invest not because he has to, but because he wants to. Loyalty becomes natural. Commitment follows without coercion. Desire deepens because he associates you with emotional fulfillment that goes far beyond physical or superficial attraction. And here's the profound effect. When a man feels emotionally safe, he becomes emotionally courageous. He steps into his best self, not to impress, but to belong. He begins to match your stability with his own presence. He opens, trusts, and cherishes. Emotional safety transforms a relationship from a fleeting spark into a deep, sustaining flame. Ultimately, emotional safety is the hidden key that makes men stay loyal, engaged, and deeply connected. It's the glue that binds attraction, respect, and desire into a bond that feels unbreakable. Without it, even the strongest chemistry can fade. With it, even the simplest connection grows into something extraordinary. The path to providing emotional safety is a journey, not a checklist. It requires awareness, patience, and practice. But every moment you embody it, through presence, calmness, and compassion, you strengthen the invisible thread that holds him close. And when you combine this with your feminine energy and self-respect, you create a force that is almost irresistible. You become a woman whose presence is a sanctuary, whose boundaries are sacred, and whose heart is open. A woman a man can't stop thinking about. Not because she's perfect, but because she's real, steady, and deeply alive. Now that we've explored feminine energy, self-respect, and emotional safety, it's time to understand how these elements converge to create loyalty, the kind of bond that keeps a man deeply committed, not out of obligation, but because he wants to. Loyalty is not a trick or a transaction. It's the natural outcome when a man feels seen, respected, and emotionally connected. Most people confuse loyalty with control. They think that keeping a man close requires rules, tests, or constant validation. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Loyalty grows when he feels that being with you enhances his life in ways he can't get elsewhere. When a man experiences emotional safety, admiration, and challenge all in one relationship, he doesn't just stay, he invests, he protects, he cherishes. Think about a man who is used to performing, proving, and hiding his vulnerabilities. When he meets a woman who embodies these three behaviors, something remarkable happens. He realizes he doesn't need to pretend. He doesn't need to compete. He doesn't need to be anyone but himself. And that realization sparks deep, involuntary loyalty. He begins to choose her over and over again, because she is no longer a fleeting desire. She is a foundation. Loyalty is built on trust, but not just any trust. It's trust in the consistency of your energy, the integrity of your actions, and the authenticity of your heart. When a man trusts that your love is steady, he doesn't seek fulfillment elsewhere. Dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin are quietly reinforcing this connection. But the deeper layer is psychological. He feels understood, accepted, and respected. That feeling can't be faked or rushed. It's earned through genuine presence and consistent behavior. Let's look at some everyday moments where loyalty is reinforced. 1. Consistency in presence. When he shares a triumph or a struggle, you respond with warmth and attention, not distraction. He learns that you are a safe space, someone who will celebrate his victories and support him through challenges. Over time, he begins to equate your presence with stability and joy. 2. Respect for boundaries. You don't collapse your schedule or compromise your values to please him. Instead, you maintain your life, your passions, and your priorities. This quiet strength communicates that your world is not negotiable, but it is inviting. He must rise to meet your energy, and that challenge creates desire. 3. Appreciation without dependency. You acknowledge his efforts without clinging to them. Gratitude is expressed naturally, without overdependence. This balance shows him that his contribution matters, yet your happiness does not rely solely on his actions. Men instinctively respect a woman whose fulfillment is rooted in herself. 4. Emotional co-regulation. Life isn't always smooth. When conflict arises, you maintain calm, clarity, and patience. This doesn't mean avoiding confrontation, but responding with intention. Your steadiness gives him a model for how love can thrive even under stress. Loyalty is also reinforced through curiosity and intrigue. You don't reveal everything at once. You leave room for discovery, allowing him to continuously explore your inner world. This subtle mystery keeps the emotional connection alive. Men are wired to seek novelty, but when novelty is paired with emotional safety and respect, it creates long-lasting investment instead of fleeting excitement. Another vital component is shared vulnerability. When you reveal pieces of your authentic self, your dreams, fears, and aspirations, without shame or overexposure, he feels honored to witness your inner world. This triggers oxytocin, creating a bonding loop where he desires closeness, not just pleasure. Emotional intimacy becomes addictive, but in the healthiest possible way. Carl Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." In relationships, loyalty grows when both partners can reflect each other's growth. By embodying feminine energy, self-respect, and emotional safety, you offer him a mirror in which he sees the best version of himself. He becomes invested not only in you, but in his own evolution through the connection you share. Let's address one more nuance: individuality. A woman who is fully herself, with her own passions, interests, and world outside the relationship is deeply magnetic. She does not rely on him to fill emptiness, nor does she allow him to overstep boundaries. This independence paradoxically creates closeness. A man respects and cherishes a partner who thrives both inside and outside the relationship. He wants to be part of her life, not to control it, but to complement it. The fusion of these behaviors, feminine energy, self-respect, emotional safety, creates a synergy that is difficult to replicate. Men may encounter beauty, charm, or fun in many women, but the combination of depth, groundedness, and care is rare. That rarity is what keeps him committed, not fear of loss, but a genuine desire to remain part of the unique connection you've cultivated. Even in moments of tension or uncertainty, loyalty persists because these foundations are unshakable. If he encounters setbacks, disagreements, or external stress, he remains drawn because he knows the bond is real. It's not fragile or conditional. It's earned through consistent, authentic engagement. Here's how this plays out over time. A man may initially notice your beauty, your laughter, your presence, but after weeks and months, it's not those surface qualities that hold him. It's the way he feels when he's with you. Respected, seen, understood, safe, excited, valued. That is the invisible glue that creates enduring loyalty. You don't need to manipulate, play games, or overcompensate. You simply need to embody these behaviors consciously and consistently. Your energy does the work. The attraction that began with feminine magnetism deepens into admiration, then respect, then trust, and finally into committed love. Remember, loyalty is not static. It is a living, breathing outcome of your actions and presence. It requires care, attention, and continued practice. But unlike fleeting attraction, it compounds over time. Each moment you honor yourself and him, each act of consistency, empathy, and groundedness strengthens the invisible threads that bind him, emotionally and mentally. The truth is, men are drawn to women who are rare in this way. Women who hold their energy, their worth, and their hearts with intention. They don't just chase him, they hold the kind of presence that makes him choose them willingly, again and again. That's why this approach doesn't feel manipulative or exhausting. It feels natural, effortless, and sustainable. The end result? A bond that isn't just about desire, but about mutual growth, respect, and trust. A connection that evolves into a lifelong partnership because it is built on real, understanding, and authentic, emotional chemistry. And here's the subtle, beautiful thing. When you combine feminine energy, self-respect, and emotional safety, loyalty is not something you ask for. It's something he wants to give. He becomes devoted not to control, but to preserve and protect the rare energy that you bring into his life. In a world where fleeting connections are common, the combination of these behaviors creates a rarity that cannot be ignored. Men may try to pursue, they may admire superficially, but only a few experiences forge lasting emotional addiction. You become unforgettable, not because you tried harder, but because you are fully yourself, consistently and courageously. Now we arrive at the culmination of everything we've explored. Feminine energy, self-respect, emotional safety. These three behaviors are the pillars of deep attraction and lasting loyalty. But knowing them isn't enough. To truly transform your relationships, you must integrate them into your daily life, making them habitual expressions of who you are. When this becomes your natural way of being, you no longer chase love. Love naturally finds you. Let's begin with feminine energy. This isn't about performance or perfection. It's about presence. Every day, you have the opportunity to cultivate a calm, magnetic energy that draws him in without force. This could be as simple as slowing down your pace, listening fully in conversation, laughing with your whole body, or allowing a moment of silence to exist comfortably. These small acts of being rather than doing signal to a man that he is safe and appreciated. Notice how this energy makes him feel. When he is around you, does he relax? Does he feel a spark of warmth and curiosity? That is the effect of your feminine energy at work. And here's the key. It works best when you cultivate joy and life in your own world first. Pursue hobbies, interests, and passions that light you up. A woman who is fully alive is magnetic because her energy is contagious. Next, self-respect. This is where the real power lies. Self-respect is not about arrogance or creating distance out of fear. It is about clear, unwavering boundaries that protect your peace. Start by identifying what behaviors, attitudes, or actions you will no longer accept in your life or relationships. Then consistently honor those boundaries. When a man sees that you do not compromise your integrity, he naturally rises to match it. Self-respect also manifests in how you treat yourself daily. Do you nurture your body and mind? Do you honor your time, your energy, and your emotions? When you demonstrate self-love, you communicate that your worth is non-negotiable. That energy is magnetic, and it shifts the dynamic. You are no longer pursuing love. Love is pursuing you. Now, the cornerstone of deep connection, emotional safety. This is what transforms attraction into commitment. Emotional safety means creating a space where a man can be fully himself, without masks, without fear of judgment, without the pressure to perform. Begin with small moments. Listen with curiosity, respond with empathy, and offer support without trying to fix everything. Consistency is crucial. Emotional safety is built not in grand gestures, but in daily interactions. When he shares something vulnerable, respond with patience and understanding. When conflicts arise, respond with calm and balance. Show him that your love is steady, reliable, and unconditional. This doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. It means maintaining clarity and compassion while holding your boundaries. When feminine energy, self-respect, and emotional safety are present together, they create a synergy that is impossible to ignore. Men feel it instinctively, even if they can't articulate why. Your presence becomes a haven, a thrill, and a challenge all at once. And this combination doesn't just attract attention, it anchors a man emotionally and mentally. Let's talk about practical application. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Start with one small change and build from there. 1. Daily mindfulness practice. Take 10 minutes each day to reconnect with yourself. Breathe deeply, check in with your emotions, and ground yourself in your feminine energy. Notice how this shifts your interactions throughout the day. 2. Boundaries audit. Reflect on the ways you may have allowed compromise or confusion in your relationships. Identify one area where you can honor your self-respect today and act on it. 3. Active listening. In your conversations, focus fully on understanding the other person, not solving or controlling. Ask questions, show curiosity, and allow moments of silence. This builds emotional safety and deepens connection. 4. Celebrate yourself each day. Recognize one way you honored your values or showed your unique energy. Gratitude toward yourself reinforces self-respect and amplifies your feminine presence. 5. Joyful presence. Engage in activities that bring genuine joy and allow yourself to experience pleasure fully. Men are magnetically drawn to women who radiate life from within. Consistency matters more than perfection. Even small daily practices compound over time. Every interaction you have while embodying these behaviors strengthens the invisible thread that pulls him closer. Here's the final truth. Deep, lasting love is never about control, manipulation, or trying harder. It grows from being fully yourself, confident, authentic, and emotionally present. The man who is meant for you will recognize this energy, respond to it, and become loyal, not because he is forced, but because he is inspired. Remember, Carl Jung taught, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." Every choice you make to embody your feminine energy, to honor your self-respect, and to provide emotional safety is a choice to become magnetic, empowered, and deeply loved. Over time, these choices transform not only your relationships, but your sense of self. You stop seeking validation from others and start drawing people to the authentic, vibrant, and grounded woman you are. And that authenticity is irresistible. Finally, understand that this is a journey, not a destination. Each day you have opportunities to practice presence, enforce boundaries, and nurture safety. Each step forward is a victory. Each moment of authenticity strengthens your magnetic field. And every time you embody these behaviors, you reshape the way men experience connection, desire, and loyalty in your presence. So begin today. Choose one behavior, feminine energy, self-respect, or emotional safety, and integrate it fully. Notice how it shifts your interactions. Then build on it. Grow your awareness. Celebrate your progress. Over time, the combination of these behaviors becomes your natural state, and men who are meant to be in your life will respond with deep, enduring love. This is not about chasing. It's about being. Being the woman who radiates confidence, warmth, and stability. Being the woman whose presence inspires a man to rise, invest, and commit. Being the woman whose energy is unforgettable because it is real, grounded, and whole. When you live in this way, you stop wondering if he'll stay. He stays because he wants to. He stays because you've shown him something rare. A connection that touches not only his mind and body, but his heart and soul. Here's your action plan. Embrace one small step in feminine energy each day. Honor one boundary that reinforces your self-respect. Practice one act that builds emotional safety in your interactions. Over time, these small steps compound, creating momentum that transforms your love life. You become a woman who is not just noticed, but cherished. Not just desired, but respected. Not just loved, but irreplaceable. Your journey begins with a choice to show up fully, authentically, and consistently. And as you do, the right man will naturally be drawn to your light, compelled to invest in your energy, and inspired to remain loyal, not out of obligation, but because he recognizes a rare, unshakable magnetic presence. Step into your power. Be your full, vibrant, feminine self. Respect yourself. Offer safety. Watch how love begins to follow you, not in frantic pursuit, but in steady, lasting devotion. The love you desire isn't a dream. It's a reflection of the energy you bring. And when you live these truths daily, you don't just attract love, you create a connection that is enduring, magnetic, and profoundly fulfilling. This is your path, your journey, your power, and every choice you make to embody it draws the right man closer, again and again, until he is not just in your life, but deeply invested in your heart.